Hi guys, welcome back to another makeup video. So today's video is a bit of a different one. I've seen a lot of people do this where they get Pinterest up on their iPad per se and they just give a scroll through with their eyes closed and they pick whichever makeup look they click first. Now I videoed this part over on TikTok. I can probably put a clip in here if you guys aren't going to go watch it, but I recommend you do. And I basically closed my eyes, scrolled through Pinterest, and this is the makeup look that we came out with. I did start with the search editorial makeup because I didn't want it to just be any old random thing. I wanted a theme, but I couldn't decide what makeup look to do. There was too many. So I just thought I'd leave it in the hands of chance. And this is what we came out with. So that is the makeup look we're doing today. So for brows, I'm literally just going to run a bit of this Morphe pencil crown through them. I'm not looking for anything too crazy, just a little bit of colour compared to normal. And then I'm just going to take my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer to conceal underneath my brows. So I just decided to conceal just the arch of my brow, so I left this whole bit blank. Just because I want it to be quite a soft brow for the eyeshadow to blend up into. And then to start off with the eyes, I'm just going to take this Maybelline Mitchell colour case. This is the Eclectics case. And we're going to take this purple shade called Loved You Once as a base for the eye. And I've actually mixed up a bit of a peachy colour from that same palette with this to create more of a pastel purple. And I'm just going to take this all over my eyelid like the inspiration photo. And we sort of do like an avant-garde square shape, so I'm just going to bring that up towards the brow, but we'll do some blending into the brow as well. And I'm only going to blend so far with that flat brush, and then I'm going to switch to a fluffy brush. And I'm just taking this to literally blend the product that's already on the eye. I'm not taking any more product. So I'm just going to blend that. And it's very close to the eyebrow at the start, but that's kind of what we wanted. It kind of goes into the front of the brow. And then we're just going to go in and do the same thing on the other eye. Blending that the same as I did the other one as well. And I'm just blending that up into the brow a bit more than I did originally. And to set that, I'm just going to take a translucent powder because I don't want to change any of the colour on the lid. I still want it to be just as light as it is. So I'm just taking a clear loose powder and dusting that over top. And moving on to skin before we do the rest of the like other colours, because obviously we need a base down. I'm not going to go too hardcore of a base. I think I'm just going to do some concealer, bronzers, blush, etc. and still have like freckles showing and stuff. So I'm just going to go in under the eyes. I think I need a new one of these, to be honest. And then I'm just going to do the normal regime. And then I'm just going to take a big foundation brush to blend out those concealer spots on my face. And that's just like, I like to do this because it gives it a bit more of a blended look because it's such a big brush. It just seamlessly blends into the skin. You guys know I always leave the inner corners to do with another tool, which is of course a beauty blender, just to try and keep the product in the same area as it was placed. And then think I'm going to take this pink honey face frosting for bronzer. I do like a bit of a cream bronzer when we don't have a base on. So I'm just going to apply that normally. And then I just like to buff that down my nose as well. I'm quite fond of not using a small brush for my nose contour nowadays as well. Bronzer, I mean. Just like to give it a little dusting of colour. And then on this photo, obviously she has the yellow on her outer corner and pink on the inner, and then almost an orangey eyeshadowy blush. So we're going to leave it there for now with the skin and move on with the rest of the colours. So I'm going to switch to my Bright Matte Beauty Bay palette because we've got lots of options for colours in here. We're going to start with the pink, so I'm going to go for this hot pink, which I believe is called Make Them Wink. Yes. Make Them Wink. And then for yellow, probably this shade down here. And I'm just going to take a very small fluffy brush with that pink. And we're going to start on the inner corner. I'm going to start by patting it in, and then we'll go in and blend once we've got the colour on there. And to be honest, this may be hard because we have just powder set the under eye, so it may not stick very well. I'm going to use a different brush to blend that. As you can see, it's kind of like all just coming off, which is a bit annoying, but it's fine. And I'm just going to go back and forth, alternating between the eyes, basically. I don't know whether to use the colour case again. I think I'm actually going to go in with this yellow shade on the colour case. I'm just picking this up on a flat brush, and we're basically going to follow the line of the eyeshadow from the under eye. We're going to leave a tiny gap to blend on the under eye. Here we go. It's actually a lot harder to move than I thought it would be. Now I'm just going to take a fluffy brush, but it's more of a denser one so that we can move the product a bit. And I'm going to hopefully blend this out. And I've just gone in and blended a tiny bit of the shade Daffodil Delight, which is the lightest yellow in the Bright Matte palette. Just because I thought it would blend out a little bit better, and to be honest it did, and it just gave it a little bit more of that yellow pop. And now going back into that colour case, I'm taking this orangey shade and quite a dense brush. I'm going to blend that from the yellow into the bronzer as like an orange blush basically. And then I'm going to find a perfect shade to go over that with eyeshadow. And I'm just going to make sure that I bring that yellow colour back to life. I don't want it to get swallowed by the orange. But as you can see, it's kind of like not actually that bright. So that's what we're going to do with the eyeshadow now. I want to take the shade Heat Wave, but I don't want to go too crazy. So I might just take the shade Tangerine Dream, which is the next brightest orange. So let's do this. Some of that off so that we can then blend it. And now we can very clearly see that it is an orange blush and not pink because I think the other colour almost just made it pink, but it gave it a good base to stick to. And now I'm going to go back in with bronzer, but this time I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury airbrush bronzer because I'm hoping this will give more of a darker bronzer to blend into that orange. So we're just going to basically redo the whole bronzer, but almost, rather than redo, we're sort of just adding on top. And then in the inspiration picture, she has this dark blue curved liner. It's hard to explain, I'll show you it when we're doing it. But she does it in a dark blue, but I've got this like in between bright blue shade from my painted Create paint. I think actually what's been done on this makeup is almost just a smudgy liner. So in that case, I found this Barry M waterproof eyeliner, and it's very similar to the eyeliner she has on in the picture. And what it seems, it just looks like it's a very non-precise avant-garde liner, so we're just going to smudge it on and see how it goes. That's basically all we need. Might make it a bit longer. I'm just going to follow the line of the yellow. And then that is the liner. I'm quite pleased with how that looks actually. I think it looks very similar to the inspiration photo. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit of that orange that's on the brush and put it onto the nose, because she seems to have a little bit of blusher on her nose. And for mascara, I'm just going to take this black MAC Stack mascara. In the inspiration photo, she does wear false lashes, but I'm definitely not doing that right now. So we're just going to do black mascara on the top lashes, and then we just leave the bottom ones plain. It's crazy how much lashes just completely change the entire eyeshadow look. Also just gone in and put a tiny bit of black liner in the lower lash line. I'm going to take a bit of highlighter as well and just do a tiny bit on the nose and just a little on the cheeks. Now for lips, I'm taking this lip liner. It's just a very dark pink to copy what she has on in the photo. I'm just going to line my lips with this like I would normally. And I almost need a purpley shimmer, but I don't have a purple lipstick, so I'm going to take the same shade we used on the eyes, and hopefully adding the lip gloss on top of it will differentiate a little. I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it in the centre of my lips, and not go too heavy handed because we want the lip liner shade to still be there, so we're just going to blend it out lightly. And then I'm just going to go in with this Revolution Pout Bomb glittery lip gloss over top of that. And guys, that is the finished makeup. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out, and there's probably isn't a makeup look I would have picked if we hadn't have scrolled and chosen it, which I think is quite good. So I'm pleased with how this makeup video turned out. I will record a few clips for you now, and I'll see you guys back for the outro. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this fun makeup look. If you want to see me picking the makeup, if I didn't already insert it in the video, go over and check my TikTok. All of my social medias are in the description box below. I'm posting pretty much every day on TikTok and quite a few times a week on Instagram too, and over on my YouTube shorts here, which you should have seen. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this makeup look, and I will see you guys back here next week for another makeup video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.